collectors, it's Carly and I'm back again with another edition of What I Found at Fanboys. So today we're going to be looking at something that is a little strange, kind of funny, super nostalgic, and at the time that I found it, I wasn't 100% sure what I was looking at for a couple of reasons. First of all, it was in a bag with a few other items that I couldn't really identify. It was sort of a worn plastic bag, so I couldn't really tell what it was coming with, and the items that I thought it came with didn't really make sense to me. But the action figure itself, I felt really confident that I knew what it was, and I never knew that such a thing existed. And I've been collecting action figures and comic books for a very long time, so I wasn't entirely sure that this was authentic or what exactly it was, but it was all wrapped up in this bag for $1. So I had to get it because there's absolutely no losing at that price point. And when I got it home and opened it, sure enough, it was exactly what I thought it was. And after doing a little research, I found out that this was a thing back in 2000. So today we're gonna take a very brief look at my Goatboy action figure. Here he is. For those of you who don't remember or didn't know, Goatboy was a character played by Jim Breuer on Saturday Night Live in the late 90s and 2000s. It was just a silly character where he would do really sort of normal things. He would do interviews, he would do panels on news shows, and be very well spoken and kind and calm, but he was also a goat. So he would intermittently bleat and baa. He had handlers that would come with him, and occasionally they'd have to cattle prod him. It was a very silly character. If you missed that, you can watch his videos on the NBC website. They've got links to all of the old Goatboys. It was very, very funny. I mean, Jim Breuer is one of the best comedians in the biz, and this was such an absurd character. It was really sort of in the prime time of Saturday Night Live, before things got really kind of iffy. There was one Goatboy that he did an interview show, and Chevy Chase was on there as Cowman. And so while they're doing the interview, they're both saying really insightful, intelligent things, but back and forth they're intermittently like bleeding and mooing. It's really, really funny, silly stuff. So this figure, I had never known that they made Saturday Night Live action figures. I looked into it, and it was something that happened in 2000 by a toy company called X Toys. If you're Googling this, I highly recommend that you Google X Toys action figures, unless you're in for a slightly more spicy search. But if you look up X Toys, I was able to find only these figures that they did. The set of 4 came out in 2000. There was Goatboy, Mary Catherine Gallagher, who we all know and love. There was the Samurai Baker, who was played by John Belushi, and Nat X, who was played by Tim Meadows. So it's kind of a random grab bag with Jim Belushi in there. Obviously I know Jim Belushi from Saturday Night Live, but I wasn't familiar with the Samurai Baker. Let me know in the comments if that's a character that you felt you really would have wanted an action figure for, to go with these other 3 really iconic 90s characters. None of these figures are particularly stellar in their crafting, although I would say that this does look like Goatboy. It has a simple 10 points of articulation. That's each of the knees, each of the hips. The elbows only turn in and out like this instead of bending like an arm. The shoulders only go round and round instead of lifting out. And the head only goes up and down instead of side to side. So it's 10 points of very strange articulation, but the sculpt itself is pretty good. While it doesn't look like Jim Breuer as Goatboy, it's unmistakably Goatboy. And once I got it in hand, I was really, really stoked to have this figure. So I wasn't sure about the accessories that it came with, because it's been many years since I've seen Goatboy, so I had to Google. And then when I found out what it was, I was like, this is so perfect. It was so well done. So he comes with a podium. There were several sketches where he presented as a normal public speaker. He may have been running for office. I'm not entirely sure, but he would be very poised and composed and then like go into a fit of bleeding, and his handlers would have to step in. So these are essentially paper doll cardboard cutouts, and these are their cattle prods. And when Goatboy would get into a fit that he couldn't get out of, the handlers would step in and start prodding him with their cattle prods. It was just such a silly, ridiculous sketch, but I think it's so funny that these are the accessories that they chose to go with this action figure. And there was another accessory that didn't come with mine, and that was a bottle of milk, which was another thing the handlers would use when they were trying to calm Goatboy. They would bottle feed him like a baby. And it was just such a brilliant character, such a different time for Saturday Night Live comedy. I really feel like the series is sort of dying out. So finding this gem that I didn't even know existed for $1 is more than I could have hoped for. I'm definitely going to be seeking out the Mary Catherine Gallagher figure. It looks like, from Googling on the internet and looking at these figures, the set of 4, the most expensive I found it for the entire set was like $100. But if you go to places like Fanboys and wait for different vendors to carry them, I mean, as you saw, I got this for, or as I said, I got this for $1. The figures are not incredibly valuable because they're not hyper articulate. The character choice was a little weird. I feel like Nat and Baker were strange choices, but Mary Catherine and Goatboy are solid wins, and so I will definitely be looking out for Mary Catherine. I highly recommend you guys check these out if you get any type of chance to. This is a very silly and fun figure, and it really brings me back to some of the best days of Saturday Night Live, I feel. If you guys are interested in knowing more about the figures that I find at Fanboys, please let us know in the comments. If you have any of these figures, let us know. I found one more X Toys action figure currently on BBTS, and it's called Buffoon Girl, which is very strange. They're trying to sell it for $75, and it is a very weak, weird-looking Harley Quinn knockoff. If anybody else has any X Toys action figures, please let us know in the comments below, or email me a picture. Again, in the description, I will be sharing my email address. I am very curious about what this company's all about. They're obviously still around, and if anybody knows what else they've created, I would love to find out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please stay tuned to this channel for more of what I find at Fanboys, pop culture, news, collecting, games, and whatever else we can think of in the genre. If you haven't checked out our TikTok yet, please do. We're doing supplemental TikToks twice a week, and we thank you so much. We'll see you next week for another edition of What I Found at Fanboys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon, because everybody collects something. Bye, friends.